What's the most expensive cab ride you've ever taken?
Do you know how much it costs to get in a crew on a taxi?
In a taxi?
One way. Because
No. You were going in a taxi. Meet Agori, the CEO of Nit Studio.
I thought I was going to be a millionaire after year one. In our first month, we made like 20,000.
She's of Spanish and South Sudanese origin. Grew up in privilege in Barcelona, lived in Uganda, and at the age of 6, had a house.
My dad actually reminded me, like, you were a homeowner when you were 6 years old.
She talks to us about dropping out in university.
Went off to the Netherlands, went off to the UK as well for university. First one was law. I failed all my classes except one.
Your first year of studying law, you failed all your classes.
My first year. And my father's a lawyer, so I think it probably broke his heart.
And how she came to Kenya on holiday and just never went back.
I applied to a university in Manchester, Salford. Did that for 1 year. And then my family moved to Kenya. So it was Christmas break. Yeah, I came to Kenya for a holiday. I was just supposed to be here for like 3 weeks. I started a business and I've stayed. I've not gone back ever since.
She tells us why she thinks a relationship, specifically a boyfriend, was one of her biggest downfalls.
When you're starting out business, should you be getting income from your business that you're making and then giving it to a man to sustain him? As a 21-year-old, I was called at like 3 or 4 a.m. He's drunk and he's like, yo, I have no cash and I'm here at the bar. I need to pay for my bill. That's when I said, like, don't you dare call me again.
We find out what it took to set up the Nit Studio and how at some point a robbery set them back.
I had hired some photographer to do some job for a client that we had. And the photographer's like, are you in the studio? And I'm like, no, I'm still at home. He's like, oh, your door is open. So I'm like, huh? He's like, yeah, it looks like someone broke in. That time I was alone in Kenya. So I remember I called my parents. I was crying.
We also learn how privilege and money and networks have played a role in her money story. Hey everybody, welcome to Financially Incorrect. I am your host, Barak, and thank you for joining us this Friday afternoon. If you're watching on Friday, we've released this on Friday, so it means that this is a money story for you. I'm looking forward to this. It's, I think, a money story. From the little I've heard so far, it has to do with men.
Oh God!
It has to do with a studio, a bit of failure, and some success, all before the age of 26. So I'm really keen on getting into this story and understanding what happened here. So anyway, so my guest today is Agori Korbandy. I hope I have pronounced that right. She is from a Spanish and South Sudanese origin. Mm-hmm. She's the CEO of Nit Studio, and this began as a simple studio rental, which has now grown into a production company, a marketing agency, a print shop, and an academy with operations both in Uganda and Kenya with a staff of 15 people. Welcome to Financially Incorrect.
Thank you. First of all, I have to say, how can you do me like that? How can you say the first thing? The little I've heard, it's to do with men.
Yeah, because before it started, because it was like, anyway, they will hear the story, and they will see why I said that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, but it's very little that we talked about before we got on, right? Anyway, I want to ask you 2 questions.
Yeah.
Before we start, the first one is so when we get into the studio to sit down. You tell me you want to sit on this seat because you have a favorite side, which is the left side. Yeah. Tell me about a favorite and non-favorite side. As someone who does not have one.
Honestly, I think I love modeling. I love photography. Mm-hmm. So when you're in the studio, like when you're posing and stuff, it's like when you're doing a profile, mm-hmm. It's never like straight ahead. So it's either you tilt a little bit to one side or tilt to the other side. So I think over time, I've just developed a better side with my left side. I think because I have a nose piercing on my right side, so I don't like showing it that much on camera side. I just feel more confident, and I'm very shocked that you don't have a better side.
No, I don't.
You're okay with both sides.
Couldn't be bothered.
That's very interesting. Many people have a better side. Maybe women. Maybe it's not a men thing.
Kristen, do you have a better side? Yeah. You do? Oh, okay. Maybe which side is your better side? You think? Is it that the facial features on that side like cooperate with what you want to do more? It looks better,
yeah. Or? It definitely looks better. Like when I look at there's just something about it.
Yeah. Interesting.
I can't really explain the science behind it, but
you just have a side. Yeah. Okay, cool. My next question is, what's your go-to comfort food and why?
My go-to comfort food, definitely pasta, tiramisu. I love Italian food. I love Mediterranean. Mm. Yeah, I'm not big on fast food actually. Yeah, I think that's most people's, burger.
Yeah.
Nice. What's yours?
My comfort food
Yeah.
is probably like sweet stuff, like caramel popcorn, probably, or like
That's not food.
food to me, or crepes.
That's
My,
what
my wife's
crepes.
my wife's
Yeah.
pancakes and crepes. Those are. But to
Yeah.
be fair, they're both probably comfort and like celebratory food.
Yeah. I love crepes
yeah.
actually.
Yeah. Where's the best tiramisu in Nairobi?
Santa Maria.
I haven't even heard
Without
of
a
that
doubt.
restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah. It's in behind Valley Arcade.
Mm-hmm.
They have the best tiramisu. I can have like 5 of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
they're
be
amazing.
sure to. I'll be
Please
sure
try
to
it
try.
and let me
Yeah,
know.
I'll be sure to try check them out. I've not even heard of that restaurant.
Really?
But yeah, it's
It
first
is
time.
popular. It's like an OG apparently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
First time I'm hearing of it. Okay. Anyway, so let's get into your story, right?
Yes.
First of all, a little bit about maybe just tell us a little bit about where you come from. That sounds a little rude, but it's like where you come from. Yeah.
Where do I come from?
Yeah.
So I was born in Barcelona, which is in Spain. For anyone who should, of course, know, Barca, FC Barcelona. My father is South Sudanese. My mother is Spanish. So I grew up from when I was born until I was around 11 years old. I was in Barcelona. I did my primary school there. Yeah, and then at some point, because my father lived in South Sudan, we decided to like move closer. But I couldn't live in South Sudan myself because of schools. They wanted me to go to a good school, and at the time, there wasn't really like any great private schools or international schools. So it was either between Kenya and Uganda. So I actually just ended up in Uganda by chance. I could have been in Kenya a long time ago. And yeah, from there, I lived in Uganda from when I was like 11, 12 until I graduated from high school. Then I went off to the Netherlands, went off to the UK as well for university. Dropped out of both. First one was law. Didn't do so well at all. Like, didn't do well. I failed all my classes except one. And then
This is like in your first year of studying law, you failed all your classes.
my first year. And my father's a lawyer, so I think it probably broke his heart. And then after that, because I failed in the Netherlands, actually, if you fail your first year of uni, you cannot stay in that uni. You have to actually go to another uni. So I had no choice. I had to either way go to another uni. So I was like, let me go to the UK. So many of my friends are there. It looks so lit that, it's fun. I was in a small town also in the Netherlands, so I just hated my life there. So yeah, I applied to a university in Manchester, Salford, for environmental management because I was like, let me just study something I like. And in high school, I liked biology, I liked environment, so I was like, okay, let me do that. I got in, and then I did that for 1 year. I was doing well. I didn't fail my classes, and then my family moved to Kenya. So that was in 2020 when they moved to Kenya, and I was still in uni in the UK. I was now gonna go to my second year, so it was Christmas break. So yeah, I came to Kenya for a holiday. I was just supposed to be here for like 3 weeks. And yeah, I started a business and I've stayed. I've not gone back ever since. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So first of all, it sounds like you grew up in money to some degree.
To some degree,
what was
definitely.
money like? Yeah, like.
So I think growing up, was for me. I had access to things. So actually, funnily enough, because I was coming for this interview, I was asking my parents, what do you have to say from my growing up? Because I might not remember some things. And my dad actually reminded me, like, you were a homeowner when you were 6 years old. And I was like,
homeowner at 6.
Yeah. So he built a house when I was around that age, and it was in my name fully. So of course, it was not me who invested in it, but so this was my growing up. I didn't really have like designer and like lavish cars and things like that. But I always had security. We always had homes, My parents always ensured that we have a home that is ours, that we live in, wherever we are. They ensured also to invest in, things like land, things that can grow in value over time, and then maybe you can build things on it and establish businesses. So actually, where my business sits right now was one of my family's investments. So it paid off. So I think that's growing up. I'd say I was in international school. I was in good school, definitely. Even in Spain, I was in private school. I know that growing up, my mom, when I was younger, she footed a lot of my bills. And then when I moved to Uganda, that's when my dad that's when he was starting to do better. And he came in and supported a lot more. I mean, he supported throughout, but I saw like the increase, you know. So I would say yes, I've always had a comfortable life, but I've also seen it grow over time, you know. So things that maybe like, let's say in Spain, like we were living in not we were not living in the best neighborhoods, you know. It was not a bad neighborhood, but it was like, it was not where like the
what would
rich
be the
people.
equivalent of the
Would be the
neighborhood? Yeah.
equivalent of like, I'd say, what's like maybe like under Kilimani? What would be maybe I would say maybe like up those areas around Upper Hill.
Okay.
It would be something around there. You know, it was by the train tracks, and like it was small apartments, one bathroom. Like it was really, that's how I grew up. And then now moving to Africa, like my life also it got better. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple questions. Where's the apartment now? The house or the house that was in your name at 6. Do you
It's
know
still
where it is?
there. It's still there, actually.
It sounds like you are being reminded about the fact that
Yeah.
it's there. So you have even
No, no,
yeah.
no. Actually, my dad, I think he stays in it.
Okay.
He does stay in it. Yeah, I
Okay.
have multiple actually.
Okay.
Properties that are in
In
my
your
name
name.
also. Yes, in South Sudan, in Spain. No, not in Spain actually. In Spain, it's my mom. In Uganda actually.
And these are family properties that are put in your name.
Yeah, so the way we do it, I'm an only child. So
Okay.
like some properties, let's say like one of our Uganda houses, like me and my mom. Then like maybe there's some apartments in Juba that it's my mom alone. Then maybe the house in Spain is my mom alone. Then my dad also has his own. And then in Kenya, like where our office commercial space we have is now the three of us. So it's like, yeah, it's
Okay.
divided like that. Yeah.
Do you know what the strategy behind that ownership model is?
I think sometimes it's my dad. So if it's my mom alone, sometimes it's like maybe like a gift from my dad, like here, this is like your name. But you know what? Even though we have like independent ownerships and different stuff, like I never see like that's my house, you know, like it's my name, I can do whatever I want. It's never like that. I think it's more of a thing of we're like a family, we're together, you know, like we just, what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. Like if I lose, you lose. If you win, I win. Yeah,
Okay.
that's how it is.
All right. And what did your parents? I know you've already mentioned your dad was a lawyer, but what ultimately what did your parents do to generate the money to be able to build this portfolio of wealth?
So my mom, she worked in education in Spain. She had a pretty good job actually, and she was making good money. I think at the time she was probably earning, and I hope I'm not wrong, and I hope if she sees this she doesn't mind, but I think around 3,000 or 4,000 euros, which was not bad for her at that
That's a
time. That
month.
was that was
Yeah.
a while back, or a little bit more maybe. And for my dad, he's a lawyer by profession, but he's also served different positions in government as well. So he was Human Rights Commissioner in South Sudan. He was also the legal advisor to the president of South Sudan. Currently, he's like in IGAD. He's special envoy for Sudan. So that's how he earns as well. But apart from that, it's a lot of like now real estate. I don't know if I want to call it real estate, because real estate, it refers to like lavish big properties.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
But yes, we do construction a lot. So we've built a university in South Sudan. There's a medical center being built as well. Just different apartments, homes. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like wealth.
It
And-
does.
yeah.
Actually, it does. But you know what? It's a different kind of wealth. I think there's because I can also now compare myself. You know, there's so many people out there who have like, for example, we don't have a mansion in Karen. You know, we don't have a mansion in any country actually, but we have properties in different countries as well. So it's like, yes, it's wealth, and it's like it's a lot of security that we have built. I think it's a foundation as well, because my parents were not born the way I was born. You know,
Right.
my dad, he was an orphan at 3. He was like, even in Spain, he was there seeking asylum. So he had it tough. He was moving from home to home growing up. He did a lot of jobs. He was working when he was even underage, like in kibandas, washing dishes. My mom also had a tough young adulthood. You know, she had to work really
Yeah.
to at least be able to pay university and like many things. So they both constantly remind me that like you can achieve anything that you set your mind to, and that things take time. I think for me, wealth is really not Range Rovers, lavish homes. To me, that's not wealth. To me, wealth is like, I know if can I swear? No. I was gonna say if hits the fan,
Right.
like we're okay.
Yeah.
You know, like we at least have a home and at
Yeah.
least like have a way to move.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to ask a few questions because you said that you remember from very early on that your mom was catering to a lot of your bills and
Yeah.
your dad picked up later. So I'm curious, at what age do you become conscious about money?
About that.
And what are the things then that make you aware as a child that your mom's paying most of your
I
bills?
was not aware. I
Yeah.
think these are things I found out like recently, you know, when
Okay.
you're older and you have conversations about money with your parents. Growing up, honestly, I even know where the money was coming from. I just knew like my things are being paid.
Right.
I really remember, and shout out to my mom. She really like I remember having a childhood where whatever I asked for, it it was there for me. Like I never really received a lot of no's, but I was also not asking for like Range Rover,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But yeah, I think how the dynamic in money was. These are only things you find out when you're an adult, and I think
Right.
my parents really kept a lot of these things. They always made me, you know, to be grateful and understand money doesn't grow on trees because I did see the fluctuations, you know. Especially in South Sudan. South Sudan is quite unstable. So at times business is up, but business also crashes. And when it crashes, I've seen it, you know. So I've also seen my family go from like business is booming like right after independence and then civil war again. And it's like there's no business, you know, what do you do then? But we still, I guess, made it through all of those times. I know that wasn't easy. And I think that's what has made me honestly become a hustler. And I think this is why maybe myself compared to a lot of people who have the same privilege as me, some of them maybe they don't feel the need to work so much or they just want. I work because I've seen the highs, but I've also seen like money disappear like this, you know. And it's like my parents they still kept things moving. We were never homeless. We still stayed in our homes. I was still in school,
Right.
but I saw things like really change. Some because of instability in
Right.
South Sudan at times.
Okay. So I'm curious, when do you begin to interact with money and how? And then in addition to that as well, can you give me an example of this down times of money? Because it does, I mean, so far, and I wouldn't say you've painted it deliberately, but just because of what you've talked about, it does sound like things are pretty rosy. So what's an example of times when you know stuff's not working out with money?
Okay, so for example, when things are not working out, so let's say,
Especially in that beginning point of your life in the childhood.
yeah. So in my childhood, no, I would not say in my childhood I really I have zero recollection of things being down.
Yeah.
As I said, whatever I had access to things. There was
Right.
nothing I really had wrong. However, I did see it from my other family members in Spain. My mom, she was doing quite well. She was the only one who actually went to university and was able to get a good job. But I'd see, like, for example, if my mom picks me up after school and I want like some croissants and like something to eat, it's like, yes, you can have it right now. If I want to buy something quickly in the shop, I can. But if it's like my cousin or like my aunties are now picking me up, it's like if I want to buy that, there were no's, you know. Sometimes I'd be like, oh, you know, we can't. So I did. When I was young, that's how I kind of saw it. Growing up, I think the time I saw it, I think there was a time maybe when I was in high school where maybe we took a bit longer to pay my school fees. So things like that, or even there's a time we have like 2 properties in Uganda, but we had moved to like a bigger house, and then things were not doing that well in South Sudan, so we had to move from that bigger house back to our own properties. So it's things like that. So it's bad, but it's like not that bad. It's never that bad. It's never a situation of like
It's never dire.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So when
Thankfully,
do you begin?
and I'm very grateful for that. And I think those foundations of investments that they made initially into things that can bail us out when we have issues, it really helps. Yeah.
Okay. So when do you begin to interact with money for yourself? When do you begin to either make money or deal with money? Yeah.
So I would say in high school, In high school, I think I started now getting, because in primary school, you don't really pay for anything or there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
But in high school, I think now you're starting to go out with friends,
Yeah.
and you're doing things. So you want some cash, you want to spend money. So I think that's when initially it started to be given money. That's when I first interacted with it. Also in this high school I went to, we did a lot of we did a lot of fundraising for the community, but also for like projects in the school. So even then, I remember leading a lot of those things as well. I think I loved it. I organized a talent show, an inter-school talent show for when I was in high school to raise money for our prom, things like that, for our leavers hoodies. So that's pretty much when I think that's the
Where you
interactions
start
I had.
making money.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you start making your own money,
But I wasn't making my own money. This
yeah.
was for causes.
for whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So even
Yeah.
then, like with the pocket money and when you're moving there, what are you doing with your money? Where
So
are
I
you
didn't really
putting it?
get pocket money, like an allowance.
Yeah.
I think it was more of like, you're going for lunch. Where are you going? Okay, this is how much it would be there. What else are you doing? This is what I'm giving you.
Right.
I think at some point, my mom, I had phases with allowance, but allowance never worked for me. I think I used to blow that money like. So I think that was like, okay, this system doesn't work. Let's give you money for specific things. And sometimes there were no's. Sometimes it's like, you've gone out so much already. It was, first of all, you go out once a weekend. It's not a thing of like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday you can do things. It's you Friday home from school, Saturday during the day you can do something, Sunday home. So this is
That's
how
what it was like.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm curious about now your transition into university,
Yeah.
right? What did you struggle with the most with the law degree that you attempted to do?
I think I don't want to put myself down.
Yeah.
But I just think some things are just not for some people, and I think studying for me is not like, it doesn't work for me. I think I really struggled to grasp concepts. I really struggled to focus, I think I was in the Netherlands. So I don't know if you know anything about the Netherlands.
I mean, I know.
That's one thing you're thinking about.
The red light district and
And the other ones,
Yeah.
those things really distracted me a lot while
Right.
I was there.
Right.
Actually distracted me terribly. So I think that was a big part of me failing my first year of uni. I was not studying, I was doing other things. I wasn't really going out, actually. I was just doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing.
Right.
I was also in a small town. It's called Maastricht. It's like on the border with Belgium. And it was quite a small white town. So I really got culture shock as well, because I was in Uganda. I was in an international school, so I had people from all over the world. I was very used to being around Black people, Asians, etc. And now I'm in a town where most people are speaking Dutch. They're all like, white, blonde. It really actually, first of all, it tore my confidence down, because you go into such a setting and maybe like if you were traditionally maybe attractive for the region you are in, and then you go into a setting where that's not the beauty standard, already that brings you down. So that it really tore me down. I can't lie. I know it's vanity, but and then apart from that, it's like I can't really. It felt hard. Like the humor was different. We had our jokes in Uganda. Those jokes are not funny in a small town in the Netherlands.
Right.
And their jokes are definitely not funny to me either. There was definitely racism. There's a time even I think we were having like a house party. And there were house parties all the time, but 2 hours, because it was me and another lady, and she looks like me. They imagine like 7 cops came, and I was like, there's parties all over the city. How comes you guys send 7 cops to us here? But so there was just a lot of weird stuff. I just didn't want to be there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that then doesn't work out. Then you go to the UK.
Yeah. Then I apply in secret to the UK, because the reason I even went to the Netherlands, to be honest, it was because of finances as well. I was like, I'm not sure what I want to do with my life. I have a European passport. I'm Spanish. University in the Netherlands is only 1,000 euros. If I'm going to the UK, I'm going to pay so
As an
much
international
more
student,
for me to not know what I'm doing. So I was like, let me at least go there.
Yeah.
At least I've gone to uni. I'm doing law, which my parents really appreciate, because of course my dad is a lawyer. The school fees is even much cheaper than my high school in Uganda. it made sense, you know?
Right.
So after that, yeah, so that failed. So then I applied to the UK, Salford. I managed to get actually, one of the reasons I even went to Salford was because of finances as well. Because Salford allowed me to have to be there as a European student, meaning our fees were much less. Like
Yeah.
for international, it's like double,
Yeah.
triple.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went to Manchester. I loved it. So diverse, bigger city, so many East Africans. You know, so I had home there as well.
Right.
School, I was doing well. I was passing my classes. I was going to my classes. I was a good student. I was not, you know, I was not in the mix
Right.
of things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So Manchester was great. And honestly, if I didn't start a business, I would have probably gotten my degree from there in environmental management.
Okay, so let's even talk about how you. So you come here for holiday. You say
Yeah.
you're supposed to be here for 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and you never leave. Well, you don't go
Yeah.
back to study. So what happens when you get here?
So I get here, and my parents are now like they're because okay, so our main business is in South Sudan, but South Sudan is just not the best place also for like myself or for my mom to like, or even for my dad at this point, you know, to live. You know, it's so hot. It's very, very hot. It's like everything is so expensive there as well. There's also not access to many things. Like there's not many things to do in your free time. There's no such thing as doing things in your unless you're going to the club. You know, I've not seen. There's no cinemas. There's no, which by the way, amazing business opportunities in South Sudan in terms of all of this. But yeah, so it was now I'd finished school in Uganda, and I think we were a bit tired of Uganda. So we're like, let's try something new where we can do business. So Kenya was the option. So my dad invested in some commercial spaces here, and they were supposed to be for him. So during the whole time, it was like an empty space, and we had to transform it into offices. So I took quite a big lead in that. You know, I was very tough with the contractors as well. I was like making sure everything. I remember even taking photos. Like if there was like a small pen mark on the paint, I was like, no, like this has to be. So I started getting into the business there, and the whole year while I was in uni in the UK, I had started to think about doing business, like starting something, generating my own money. You know, I didn't need to, by the way. I had a very good allowance actually when I was in the UK, but I always, and even in the Netherlands, I had a good allowance. And but I still always wanted to make money. I actually just remembered in the Netherlands, my first job, I I was a housekeeper for in a hotel. You know, I didn't need to, but I just wanted to like, you know,
Make your
make
own
money. In the UK, I applied for jobs, but I did not get any. Even as cleaner, I couldn't even get a job as a cleaner. I think it's so hard there. So I was like, okay, I need to make money. I need to start some sort of business. So I tried a eyelashes business.
This
Was
is in
called,
the UK.
Yeah, in the UK. I did it with my best friend called Lashthetic. We spent like £400 each, I think, trying to set it up. Made zero money, like zero sales, nothing. I tried a business plan for vegan frozen food. It was called Uvega. I wanted to sell that in Uganda. So yeah, trying to plan all of that, it didn't come to fruition. I also had the idea of doing sanitary pads, manufacturing. That I was going to set it up in South Sudan. The business is called Dalva. It still didn't come to fruition. So I was actively trying different things, you know.
Right.
And I was telling my parents about it too the whole time. So I think they were already saying like, this one, she might be, you know, an entrepreneur or something. So when I came to Kenya, I was like, okay, I'm here for only 3 weeks, but let me just start something in these 3 weeks. And then I go back, I'll just run it from there, you know, I'll figure it out.
Right.
So I had some savings from university.
Right.
And I made some orders online for clothes. I wanted to now sell clothes because it was an issue I always had growing up. For me, like I'm a size extra small or extra extra small, and I never used to find clothes my size. I know it's crazy because most of the times the inclusivity in sizing right now is like
On the other side,
On the
yeah.
other side, for me, I was on the other side. So that's what I was trying to do. Bad Gal is the name, Bad Gal Africa. It was for the baddies. Shout out to the baddies.
Right.
And I ordered the clothes.
How much did you spend? Do you remember?
I spent like almost £3,000 around there.
To bring in the clothes.
Yeah, I made all the business plans. I remember staying up the whole night, planning everything. I had campaigns. I had everything. Like this was going to be like the
Right.
pretty little thing of Africa.
Right.
Yeah. So I ordered everything. It came. No, it didn't come. Sorry, it did not come. I ordered, and then the Chinese New Year was happening. There were so many delays in the orders. And at some point, my supplies even went quiet. So I was like, what am I going to do? But luckily, I had ordered everything through Alibaba. So I had trade assurance. So I started a dispute online. I won the dispute, and I got the money back minus transactions, which is a win, to be honest.
Right,
You know,
right.
like I risked and I got I got my money back. So I had now during that time I had also already was trying to set up some studio space in the commercial space that I had, because it was gonna be bad gal, a little office space for me, whoever I hired, like a showroom. So it's like you find us online, you wanna try on the clothes, come through. We have a nice setup. We have the studio setup. You can take photos. So now I had just the studio set up. So I just looked online and I checked, okay, I don't have clothes. I need to at least do something. I can't just like fail, you know? So I checked online and I saw Aoko Creative. Then I looked and what they do, they used to just hire out their studio. It's just a photography studio and photographers come. So I thought, easy, you know? I'm not a photographer, but I have the space so people can just come. I can assist.
And in this space, this is one of the commercial spaces that your father had
Yeah,
invested
it was
in.
one of
Okay.
them. So I'm not paying rent, by the way.
Yeah.
At all. But now I have, anyways. Maybe we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But I was not paying rent, so I was like, okay, let me just hire it out and see what happens. So I opened a page on Instagram, you know, posting like I've opened my business, guys, support. My friends all shared, you know. So it had like a little bit of traction, not really traction, a big traction,
Right.
but like my friends were supporting me. And at that time, I was actually, I didn't have any friends here, by the way, because I had just moved here. So the only way I had one person that I had met, which was an artist who I ended up dating. And he was one of my biggest downfalls, but probably success stories as well. But through him also, and him putting it out there, he did bring in some initial clients. And then from there, it just kept building. And because I was the studio assistant, you know, I talked to
So you
people.
were the owner and studio assistant.
Yeah, I was a
right.
studio assistant. So if you come, you're a photographer, I'm there. You want me to move the lights? I moved, you know, I was doing all of that.
Okay.
And I built many relationships because, like, you're in the studio, we have to catch a vibe, you know?
Yeah.
I ask questions. People are so shocked. Oh, you're from South Sudan. I've never seen a South Sudanese so light, you know? It's so many things. We used to talk
Right.
about many, many things. So that's how I started off.
How much capital does it take to set up the studio?
The studio. So I spent, so in savings, I had around 4,000 to 6,000 pounds. I don't remember exactly how much, but around there. My parents gave me around maybe 10,000. Was it 10,000? Less, maybe. I think maybe 4,000. I think I spent in total around $10,000
Okay, to get
to
it.
set up everything, buying the equipment. Then also because it was a commercial space, we had to do the floors. Actually, we have floors like here, like concrete
Right.
polishing. I had to do the walls, electricals, etc., etc. So all in all,
What was your projection and how long would it take you to make your money back?
I
and
thought I was
bring it?
going to be a millionaire after year one. I thought like the first month I was like, okay, 300,000. You can do it, you know. And in our first month we made like 20,000. So I was a little bit disappointed.
I'd say.
Yeah,
I mean,
my
that's a
projections
big
actually.
gap between
Let me tell you, but did I know how to make projections? For me, I was just like, I want to be rich.
And also, I
truly-
have to ask, this has been
Yeah.
this 3-week period, right?
Yeah. Yes. And I also went to Coast during that 3-week period.
Yeah, because I'm like,
And I went and partied in Coast with my best friend. I went to Uganda as
Yeah.
well. I don't know. I was
So-
21.
so ultimately,
Yeah.
what then makes the decision that you then say you're not going back to study, you'll stay here?
So, because it was COVID, I had the perfect leeway. It was online. So I was like, you know what? Let me do the second year online. Then third year, I go back. Because at least I have 1 year, I set myself up. Then I go and finish.
Right.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that was how I convinced. Because my parents, honestly, for them, they're like education, you know, like,
Right.
yes, business, whatever. And at that point, they were probably like, sure, like, what are you really going to do, you know?
Right.
So it was really, I was just lucky that COVID happened and things were online so that I could actually be here and do that. Otherwise, I think I may have had to go back I don't
to
know what
start.
would have
Okay.
happened. Yeah.
And I mean, at this point, you've also introduced
Yeah.
the man subject or the man subject, which is what I talked about at the beginning of this interview. So
Yeah.
why was this particular person or this dating, what did whoever call it, entanglement? Why did
Entanglement.
this entanglement? Why do you say it was the beginning of the downfall or a downtrodden moment?
Because let me tell you something. When you're starting out business, yeah, should you be getting income from your business that you're making and then giving it to a man to sustain him as a 21-year-old? I don't think so. You know, I think like that was like not my number one mistake. I think there are many things wrong in that relationship, you know. And I'm a big believer that like you have to go through these things so that you have character development so that you make better decisions even in business. But where do I even start? I met this person at a studio session. Red flag number one, in my opinion, you know.
Because you met him in a studio session.
Yeah.
Why was that?
Artists.
Or them being an
Artists.
artist is a red
Yeah.
flag. Okay.
And no, actually, even my friend, because my friend was an artist who came. He came to Kenya to record, and he happened to be the producer actually, who was producing for my friend. I remember my friend told me, "Agori, this man is crazy. You just leave him." And for me, I was just like, but he's an artist, you know, dreadlocks, what? Like I was excited. So red flag number one. We met there. I think from day one he told me he loves me. So I think that's already crazy. From day one he was like, let's get married, you know, like you're my woman. But I didn't know better. For me, I was like, oh, maybe different culture. Maybe maybe this is how people do things, you know. So I got into this situation, and from there it was just downhill. Like it was very toxic from the beginning. He was extremely crazy. Like
And from a financial point of view,
from
it
a
seems to
financial
be
point
like
of view,
you were taking money from your business and
yes. So
you're
from a
giving it to him.
financial, it started. I don't even know how I started spending money on him, but I think it started with, for example, like you're in a relationship, you want to go on dates. The man has no money, but I had some little money. I want to go on dates, so what I'm gonna pay because I still want to go out to eat and do all this different stuff. This is how it started. So I think from there, I was building my business. So I think I wanted us to be like a power couple, you know, cool producer, and then there's me. Like it didn't work out that way. I think I tried to like pour into him and say like, look, I'm building my business. You also build your business. And I think he genuinely maybe wanted to, but he didn't have the resources. So I would just take from mine and give you like, oh, you need to set up a studio. Let me see how I can do it. At the time, actually, because I had left the UK, I was renting out. I had already paid for my accommodation in the UK for like a year. So I was now subletting it to a friend. So I
Right.
was even making income I was getting pounds from the UK.
Right.
Those pounds, I did not even enjoy that money. It was like, it was coming in, going straight to him to cover like different stuff. Oh, you've crashed the car here, let me help you. Oh, you're on a bender. Like it was a lot of things, but I ended up spending a lot of money on this person. And it drained me financially because at some point it's like, you've gone through the whole month, you've had clients, you've made money, you sit down, but you have no money at the end of the month. And it was like that for like a whole year, you know? So it's like, I say it was my downfall because how much further would I have been if I knew better?
Yeah.
You know, if I didn't make those decisions in my first year of business. Because I always see it, I see a lot of people now starting maybe similar businesses to mine, and I see they have much faster growth. And sometimes it really pains me because it's like, you could have done things, you could have been way further ahead in your career if you just didn't do that.
So
you know?
how do you, for that year that you're talking about?
Yeah.
How do you survive during that year?
I
mean,
barely
who's
survived.
paying your rent and where you're living and all those things?
Thankfully, now you see that's where my safety net comes in. I was not paying rent in my house. I'm living at home. I'm not paying rent in my business because it's owned by my family. So really and truly, I had no serious bills except for myself. So yes, I could survive, but I was not growing. You know,
Right.
I was just there in the
Right.
house.
And at this
Yeah.
point in time, because again, you had said you talked to your parents about doing online school. So are
Yeah.
you partaking in that at all?
Yeah, so I did for a while.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
Again, this relationship also drained me to the point where I'm even not studying, you know?
Mm.
Now I'm thinking about, all the time you're thinking about somebody else. You're not even thinking about your studies. You're not thinking about your money. You're not thinking about your health. I think that time I even lost so much weight. I was so skinny.
Mm-hmm.
You're not thinking about your own needs, you know? I don't think I never even shopped anything for myself
Right.
during that time.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was bad.
Yeah, I hear you. So what's the next thing that happens in your money journey after that year's done?
After I broke that off.
Yes.
And let me even tell you how it broke off. It actually broke off because of money. I think
yeah?
I was called at like 3 or 4 a.m. And he's drunk and he's like, yo, I have no cash and and I'm here at the bar. I need to pay for my bill. And I think that's when I said like, don't you dare call me again. I cut it off there. So from there, things went up. I think I started to now focus on myself. You know, I started to be more selfish. You know, like it's really, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm curious as well with what
Yeah.
you've said, right? Because you know when you talked about the origin of how that relationship started or the money in the relationship,
Yeah.
it goes back to you wanting to go on dates and him not being financially stable at the time and so you paying.
Yeah.
But it seems like it got really, really extreme. So I'm curious if you were to try and get like the origin story of when, because it sounds like, going on a date is reasonable, I think. It doesn't sound too red flaggy, at least from where I sit. It doesn't sound too red flaggy.
Like for me to be the one to pick
yeah,
all
it
our
doesn't sound
dates.
like too red flaggy.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
It's
so
not.
so I'm curious, like if you were to look at the, if you were to try and figure out like the origin point of when things began to go left, where you're like, okay, now we've switched sides from this is normal to this is now extreme.
Honestly, I think because I was so frustrated that my boyfriend is so broke, I wanted to uplift him. So I think, in fact, I may even be the one to blame because I maybe started coming in and saying, you know what? Let me help you because if you make money, we all win. If you make money, that means less burden on me. So I rather empower you to make money and become financially stable, and then our relationship can flourish. But I think, you know, not all investments are good investments. And I think I took a risk in investing in him and what I thought was a beautiful, long-lasting relationship, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah. Okay. So
So I guess, will I blame him entirely? No, you know, because I mean, I was not at gunpoint.
yeah.
You know, no one said do this, or I chose to do that.
Yeah.
I was stupid.
What's the most outrageous thing you spent on?
Rent. I'd say rent or setting up his studio, or rent, setting up his studio. Another thing, he was not based in Nairobi. So I was going up country. He was I was going to Shags for a man.
Right.
Yeah, Nakuru. So
I mean, the cruise is not sharks. Come on now.
but do you know how much it costs to get to Nakuru on a taxi?
In a taxi.
One way. Because
No. You were going in a taxi.
I was not going to go in a matatu. I'm so sorry. Like I can't.
Okay,
I could
actually, you know
not.
what? I do not know how much it costs to go in a taxi.
But
how
in
much does it cost to go?
like 7,000 plus one way. If I negotiate, like I'm sitting down there with the driver, like, please do this for me. I don't have more. They would want like probably ideally like 11, 12K. That's one way. So imagine I was spending that money also. That journey is also long. It's also, in my opinion, as a young lady, is it the best decision to make? Is it that, you know,
I mean, I don't think going to Nakuru in a taxi is the best decision to make by any stretch of the imagination.
I had just moved to Kenya. I had no other option because it was either that. Already, I'm lying to my parents, by the way, at this point, yeah? I'm maybe going for a sleepover. I feel so bad because they're going to watch this. But I'm sorry. But I was lying and
Yeah.
saying, like,
You're going to see a friend.
I'm going to see my friend over the weekend.
So you'd spend
I'm on the road,
you'd
like-
spend 15,000 Going and coming back.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Money that I should not be spending. Mind you, I'm also going there. I'm also spending money there because,
Yeah.
who's going to pay for our
Yeah.
things there?
Yeah.
Hotel, by the way. I was paying for our hotel when we're staying there. The hotel wasn't that expensive, maybe like 3K per night, but it adds up. Food.
Yeah. No, let me tell you, by the time you're getting into tax, it's good in Nakuru. Like, I think financially, like, all bets are off thereafter. I mean, you could, anyway.
It was, yeah. So this is,
okay.
it's-
All right. So let's move on to what happens after the relationship is done. What's the next thing that happens in your money journey?
I glow up. I glow up. I started I think I started taking things more seriously.
Yeah, and by
surrounding-
the end of the first year, what's the business doing in terms of revenues? Has it grown?
So during the first year, the first month was like 20,000. The
Yeah.
second was maybe something similar. I think in the first year we were hitting around 100 and something, like maybe 118,000 or 120,000
On a good month. Or on average?
Yeah, on
Okay.
average. Then in the second year, it increased. So maybe we're like now in the solid like 100 and something, 200 and something. The second year, actually, we had in the building where my studio is, there was a fire. So I think for like 3 months I didn't have power in the studio, but I never closed down. I never announced online that we've had a fire. I was still trying to take in clients, but during that time it drastically decreased because of course you're trying to book, but I'll still disclose. By the way, there's no power. Some people would still book, so I'll still take them. The ones who don't, I really did lose some contracts that time. I think we had even one with Vice. I don't know if you know Vice.
Vice
Some UK. I think it's
Yeah.
UK. They would have hired the studio, but I had no power and issues. So it was kind of sad. But during that time, maybe it dropped now back down to like 60K maybe or something like that, which is still at least something, or 20K. Maybe 1 month, maybe nothing at all. Then in the third year, because now I'm on my fourth year, I think. So in the third year, things really like now took off exponentially. I had a robbery actually. So that's when things actually took off.
After the robbery.
After the robbery, yeah. In fact, the day I was robbed was the day I was like, Agori, let's do business seriously. We show up at the office every day. Because before that, I was doing business anyhow. Like I was maybe at home in my bed. It was very much...
You had employed people at that
I
time.
had one lady who would like now do the studio hire, and I'm paying her like, if I'm getting 2,500 per hour, I'm paying her like 1,000, like, and it was like that. Then we add at the end of the month, and then, so even her, and she's still with me up to now. Shout out to her because she was really there from when we had literally nothing, and now she has really grown. She's actually one of our best photographers right now. But yeah, during that time, so now we got robbed. It was premeditated, and like it really broke my heart actually. It was difficult because I had that same day I had chose to get my life together. I even came to the office, I did some good work, went home, robbed. So then the next day I'm coming to the office, and I had hired some photographer to do some job for a client that we had. And the photographer's like, are you in the studio? And I'm like, no, I'm still at home. He's like, oh, your door is open. So I'm like, huh? He's like, yeah, it looks like someone broke in. And he had also left some of his equipment there, and they took basically the equipment that we had. They took my laptop. I had left a laptop. Thankfully, I had 2 phones, and I took one of them home. They took a bunch of things, and that time I was alone in Kenya. So I remember I called my parents. I was crying. I was like, what am I going to do now? Because I also don't have any money. As you know, how I was hand to mouth completely. In fact, it was not even reaching my mouth, it was other mouths. So when something like this happens, I have nothing. I could not even fix my own problems. So I had to call home, and they just told me, relax. My mom flew in actually that same day, and we were like, you know what, if people are robbing you, maybe you're onto something, So
Do you know how much it was that you
worth.
lost?
Yeah, not that much, honestly, not that much. Maybe less than like $3,000 or something like that. So now my parents came in, and because we had to replace everything, but not only replace, we had to set up security systems. So in setting up those systems, they also asked me, what else do you need actually? Do you need staff? Do you need like... And I said, actually, yeah, we need photographers. So that's how I hired now my first photographer. My parents were able to like, we made a budget, and we said, okay, here's like, I think it was like maybe $10,000 or something. And I hired like a couple of people, someone to do like our sales and marketing, someone to do photography. I already had my studio assistant, and then I bought new and better equipment. And yeah, from there that's when we started now to grow.
Okay.
So that robbery was really a blessing
Yeah.
in disguise, because otherwise I think I would have stayed.
Continued
Yeah,
that, like,
continued.
and so you're saying, like, before the robbery, during that period, you're saying you're just living, I guess, hand to mouth. You're not really taking the job seriously.
No, I'm not.
And
I'm
how are you handling your money, your personal money stuff during that period?
badly. Like, I was getting money from my business. Let's say I make 5,000 today. NSK, we
All
go.
of it.
All of it. Shots, what, everything. We go.
Right.
I'm home the next day. I'm broke, flat broke, like zero.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah, it's okay. Indomie. It's that's how I used to live my
Right.
life. Can you imagine?
And I'm curious, again, coming from what seems to be a relatively, I almost want to say literate financial background.
Literally.
Literate, no, literate, because
literate, yeah.
it seems like
Yeah.
your parents put a decent foundation for you.
Shame on me, actually.
Yeah, so I'm curious, what's the justification you're making for yourself in that period, or is it just
for
youth?
behaving
Yeah,
like that?
for
I
the choices you're making.
honestly, I think so. A lot of it was, you see, a lot of my friends have very similar backgrounds to myself. So there were a lot of times where I was now working, guys were still in uni, living a nice life. They're getting their allowance, social media, nice lifestyle. For me, I'm not. When I started my business, my allowance stopped. By the way, I'm no longer getting allowance. I'm just. You have to earn your own money and figure it out. If you fall, we will catch you. But there's no such thing as you have a business and we're still sending you money for what, So that really, it was difficult, because now all of a sudden I cannot afford to do my nails. I can't do my hair the way I used to do. My friends are all like, oh, traveling, buying nice things, all of this. And for me, I just couldn't do that stuff. So I think any little money I'd get, I'd try to go out and flaunt and pretend I'm
That
doing
you're-
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I pretended, let me tell you, I pretended and pretended. I would even buy bottles. I could have 20,000 Kenyan shillings between myself and my business. Actually, my business and myself were all together. And I could still go and buy a bottle in the club and finish all my money. And then maybe I remain with like 2-3K. And I'm like, it's okay, maybe I'll get more clients next week. Then I reimburse it, do it all over again. This is how I really used to live my life. And it's really, I guess I had to go through that, and I don't know if other people are doing what what I was doing. Were you doing?
I'm sure.
Have you gone through that?
No, I haven't. But I mean, I also, I also didn't have, I guess, the background that you had. In that way. I mean, it sounds like a little bit of youthfulness.
I think foolishness, definitely on 100. Wrong influences as well, because I was also around a lot of people who I just love going out a lot. And I genuinely believe, like, when you're starting out in business, you have to make some sacrifices, because you have to, number one, you have to budget. You need to know where all your money is going. And I was just not doing that. If you fail to do that at the beginning of your business, how will you grow, if you don't even understand the money that's coming in, what you're doing with it? So, and a lot of my friends at that time were a lot of, like, party goers. Some of them are still my friends from afar, a distance, but it was people that really, it's that night life. And I felt like, for me, I'm not in the nightlife economy. Why am I so much in the
Right.
nightlife, you
Right.
know?
Okay.
So I think that was one of the big changes I had to make. I was really I was a party girl.
Okay. So what then happens next for you and your business to start flourishing? What are the things that happen?
What
that
did I
things
do
start
to
taking?
flourish?
Yeah.
Number one, leave the club. I had to leave the club completely, get in the gym. And it's a lot of things I had to do for myself that made my business do better, by the way. It's not just systems I implemented or whatnot. It actually, the biggest thing I had to change for my business to succeed was myself. So yeah, getting in the gym, living the nightlife, having standards for myself in my friendships and partnerships and relationships. Also having boundaries. I had to set a lot of boundaries in my personal life so that my business could flourish, because when people get used to you going out and spending the little money that you don't even have on them, it creates some sort of like, people have that sort of expectation,
Yeah.
and I've really noticed people love to budget on other people's money.
Yeah.
People love to like, people actually go out. Maybe they only have like 500 bob, and but they know that girl, she's going to be out, so she'll probably buy that bottle, so we're good, know. And maybe she'll have her car, so transport, maybe I'm kind of sorted. At least she drops me somewhere, So people actually behave like that.
Yeah.
So I had to really set those boundaries for my business. What I did now, when I got my mind and body right, I now started to read more. Actually, I started to read more on how I could improve my business. I started to even just think. I think I spent a lot of time not thinking.
It's a wild thing to say, but okay.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes a great entrepreneur. Being a great inquirer and a thinker. You have to really take time to like try to put things together. And that's when I started to study other businesses. I started to fix problems. I'm not someone, honestly, if I'm being very honest with you, I'm not someone who loves to just hustle, like to work, like I'm just there every day,
Yeah.
laptop, wake up, 6, laptop. I'm not that person. Actually, my bio on Facebook when I was young was, I don't work, people work for me. So I think I'm carrying on that philosophy into trying to create, my goal is to really create a business that works for me, because I have many passions, I love to travel. I love to sit, be still, and just be, So I'm really trying to build a business that can allow me to do that. And for me to have a business that can allow me to do that, I have to figure out how it's going to do that on its own. So that's how actually my business now started growing. Yeah.
Okay. So if I was to ask you, did you figure out what...
I do love my job though.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
Not that you don't like working, yes.
Yeah.
So where do you get most of your money from now, and what are the spaces that you've invested it in?
So I get my money from the studio. So NIT Studio, we do photography, videography, and studio hire. So I have freelance photographers, videographers who hire the space. We also have photographers ourselves who shoot for clients, businesses, and individuals. Then from there, I expanded to agency. So we do marketing agency work. So we do influencer campaigns, content marketing campaigns. So that's another avenue. And we have retainers, social media management as well. So we have retainers there. Then there's NIT Print. So I set up a print shop. It's actually quite new. It's only been a few months. And in the reception that we had. So I make money from that. I make money from now Academy as well. This one I'm still pushing so much. I really have a big vision for the Academy. But we've done some few workshops, and I've done some trainings for some companies. Is that how I make my money? Sometimes I make money modeling myself, actually. Some brands, sometimes they pay me. They need a model, I volunteer myself. But that's not really...
Yeah.
It's not really something significant. And I do that in Uganda as well. So the agency runs in Uganda. We're actually opening up the studio in Uganda as well. And then in terms of investments, I actually put my money in Ndovu. It's an app.
Yeah.
I think you probably know it.
Yeah, we've interviewed the CEO and founder.
Yeah. So I put my money there. There's also family business as well that we have. So as I said, university in South Sudan. There's a medical institution. A lot of these we're still establishing. So there's that. I ran Agori's Bistro for some time in Juba as well. I was in Juba, I think, for like a month. So I ran a restaurant while I was there. It's no longer there, unfortunately. But yeah,
that's what you do. Okay. There's a thing you said at some point in the interview that I want to just clarify, get more data on, because you said initially you didn't pay rent, but now you pay rent. Has that...
No,
Yes.
I don't pay rent, but I got myself into a mess. So there's no rent, but there is service charge.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know I did not pay service charge for like 2 years, and I got into some sort of
Penalty.
debt. Is it debt? Arrears.
Yes.
not debt. Yeah. So I think that's the issue that I faced. I think I was so comfortable knowing, it's our property.
Right.
Because I didn't have money to pay. If I'm not paying myself, I was definitely not paying service charge for my building.
Yeah.
So that piled up to a lot, like millions actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I got myself into a situation where I'm like,
How
what,
much is your
like,
service charges?
um,
It's a crazy
millions, not
amount.
in the high millions,
Yeah.
like low millions, but millions, you
Okay.
know, like around 1 million something.
Okay.
Yeah. It just, so, because we have two spaces there. So I think one is around 40, 60,000. The other one is around this. No, in total, 40, 60,000 each quarterly. Yeah.
Right.
Which is another thing that really, for me, I hate quarterly payments. It makes you, for me, I find them very difficult. I rather have a monthly payment plan. But yeah, it piled up. And we, you know, we had, I hope they also don't see this.
Yeah.
We had the building now telling me, you know, like, well, take off your water, take off your light, things like
Right,
that. So
right.
I had to get serious. So the good thing is, like, because we own the property, you can have conversations. You know, it's not a landlord; it's a
Right.
management. So
Yeah.
I sat down and I had to find a solution. And I was like, honestly, I don't have 1 million to give you right now. Even if I have it, I'm not going to put all that money there. I have many other things. So we came up with a payment plan whereby I'm covering my expenses. I'm paying for the service charge monthly, but I'm also, I think this is like something flew on me.
Oh, sorry. Right.
I'm paying the service charge monthly, but I'm also paying for my arrears.
The arrears,
so,
right.
So I have now that
we got a
going,
payment
so-
plan, basically.
Yeah, payment plan.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is one of the things I guess I faced in my business. But again, it's not that bad of a
yeah.
situation, you know. I'm not being evicted or
Yeah, that's true. So, what does financial success look like for you now?
financial success.
Yeah.
Honestly, my number one goal is not having arrears. Let me not say even debt, because you can have positive debt. You
Yeah.
know, as a business, we have never taken out any loans. It has always been family funded, but now I'm looking into taking out loans to help us, to boost us. You know, so for me, financial success is being up to date with all of your bills.
Yeah.
Not having backtracking things. It looks like being able to pay all the bills even in that month. It looks like me myself having peace of mind. I think that's the biggest
Your
one.
financial success.
Yeah.
Okay.
Security.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I mean, we are now an hour in, so that's us. And I mean, thank you so much for sharing
I've
this
said a
story
lot
on,
of things.
on financially incorrect. I've really, different story, different from what we've what we've had for sure. First, I now know what a cab fare from Nairobi to Nakuru is. I did not know that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you so much for coming. Any last thing you want to say?
No.
No,
I think
maybe where they can find your studio and
Yes.
yeah.
So for NIT Studio, we're located in Upper Hill. On Instagram and TikTok, it's NIT_studio. Myself, you can find me also on Instagram, Agori, Agorii. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for watching Financially Correct. We'll see you guys next Friday on the next episode.
Thank you.